makes this Glide Out Room Lift Co. Serial number 409-036. It's not a good design. It's not built strong enough. We're working on a slide out. It's got a problem with this lead screw here, and the nut seems to be floating around loose in there. I can see it. I can see the nut now. There's something going on. I think that nut is either loose in there or stripped. I kind of found what's wrong. We have two bolts right here. They look like 5/16. They go through this nut. I either thought the nut was stripped or the threaded rod was stripped, but it seems like the nut and the threaded rod are fine. And then we've got this kind of a T-nut. It's got two places to bolt through here into the floor somehow. Part of this bolt that broke off, you can see where it broke, is inside the frame down here. It's part of the floor of the motorhome, and then this nut attaches to the floor, and the threaded rod is attached at both ends to the slide out. The nut on the end of this is what I'm using with an electric cordless ratchet here to turn that threaded rod. That's the noise you hear, and it's moving the nut back and forth. So you can see the nut was underneath the floor in here, and I couldn't quite. Now I can move it both left and right here, in and out, left and right now. So totally disconnected from the floor. I think what I'm going to do next is try and remove that threaded rod right out of there and then get it out of the way so I can actually get in and try and drill out and tap the where these bolts go. And I'm probably going to upgrade these bolts to a bigger bolt, maybe a 3/8 or even 1/2 inch. There's a nut. It's welded onto that frame, so there's no removing that nut. It's just like the ones at the back that hold the electric motor on there. I kind of welded in. That's what we got here. This rubber's torn on the right side, so it actually stays there. Okay, there's the nut right there. You can see is that it? No, right there. You can see the broken bolt right in it. So I think I'm going to drill right through that nut. Drill that broken piece of 5/16 right out of there. We got this out when it was real simple, and I'm glad I took these two 5/16. They're just like sheet metal screws, which I think are a little small for that, but this piece of angle goes up against that frame, that square tubing frame up there, I think like this, and goes through here, and that goes onto that brass bushing. And then I was looking at this end. This is a rolled pin right through this nut. It's a 1/2 inch nut, so there's no way that comes off. This is your emergency nut. If the batteries go dead or if the motor burnt out, you can actually turn the slide in and get home. And I thought that might be what that is, but I wasn't. Now I know 100%. And then I noticed this weld only goes around just a little bit over half. No, about half. So I'm going to clean that up with some brake cleaner or something, and I'm going to continue that weld right around. I don't want that breaking next. Now that I got that threaded rod out of there, I can really see. Here's the other one. And you can see all these scratches from the bolts kept sliding back and forth on top of here instead of they're supposed to be attached in there. So it was kind of sort of a little bit working, but not properly. If I get them out of there, that's going to be a great big hole. It's going to be big enough for a 1/2 inch bolt to go through. I think 3/8 grade 8 bolts would be fine for this, and I might do that too. I was thinking 1/2 inch, you know, you might as well go big. This 5/16 was obviously not big enough, and I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he said, just put back exactly what was there. And I said, no, it wasn't built strong enough. I'm not doing that. A little update. I used this 1/2 inch. This is a Cobalt, one of my best drill bits. Nice and sharp. 1/2 inch drive. 1/2 inch diameter. And I use that to drill out the bolt, the nuts, captive nut. Oh yeah, you can see. And I punched them out. They're underneath there somewhere. And I was thinking, this surface right here, you can't see my hands in the way, but that surface right there may seal up against a rubber gasket. So when it's in all the way, it seals on the outside, and when it's out all the way, it seals from the inside. So I think it is a sealing surface. If that's the case, I'm gonna have to bend that tab so it fits really nicely around there. I came up with a plan here to fix this. Found a scrap piece of aluminum. It's just about perfect size. It's almost the right thickness. I think I got to mill off about 80 thousandths of an inch. And then I got these grade 8 bolts. I grabbed an assortment of them. I got some 1/2 inch. I don't like the idea of drilling these out to 1/2 inch. It's just going to weaken that a little bit. I think I mentioned that already. So we're going to stick with 3/8. These are the ones I'm going to use, actually, these little 1.5 inch. I think that'll work. So we got to find some 3/8 nuts. And then we're going to weld them on plate. And I've actually got the plate already made. Alright, this thing's ready. Hey, that's welded. There you have it. That's all made. I had one little problem trying to assemble it. I thought I could get it all together, but these are not really tight on there. So trying to assemble it, they bumped around and I couldn't line up the holes and they fell out of place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small drill bit and drill right through here in line with these bolts. Right through both layers. And then I'm going to get some self-drilling screws. So let's drill those 2 holes. We'll reinstall this piece for the final time. And then I'm going to put some, like I said, Loctite. I'm going to re-grease this threaded rod here, this lead screw. And oh yeah, I did this too. I welded this side of the that nut. There's some pressure on that. So all right, here we go. What do we got here? Turn on the flashlight. Can we do that? No, we can't. There we go. Okay, it's got to go back and over to the right. Definitely. I think. Yeah. Back and to the right. Okay, let's just leave the camera on it. I'll just do a little adjustment here. I think I can line it up better. Nope, the other way. Okay, that looks better, for sure. I got a little push on it and maybe go in. Oh, jeez. We got one in. See that? It's still loose, but it's down in the nut there, in the welded captive nut. So the other one should be really close now. It should go in. So it's underneath this rubber. There you can. You can't see it. Right there. So we got one in. Second one in, and I think the hardest part of the whole job is gonna get that chain, putting that chain back on. Hey, guess what? They're both on. Awesome. Excellent. This is really good. If I can pull that rubber out of the way, you'll see they're both started. I just gotta tighten them down. They're both coated with Loctite. I put lots of Loctite on. And those little screws are installed. You can see, there's one. You can see it. Ah, that rubber is so hard to get out of the way. See a little C in there. Okay, so they're both in. Grade 8 bolts. And now I'm just gonna say that you can see that aluminum block in there. I'm gonna tighten them down really tight, and then the next thing is get that sprocket back on. This thing here, down inside here is the chain. You're gonna lift that chain up somehow, get it on this sprocket right here. There's the electric motor right there, and there's a little gearbox. I think the sprocket's up high there. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah. Okay, so we got to do that, and then get these 4 bolts back in. Those are the same kind of nuts that were on the bottom down here, underneath, which are, not built strong enough. Okay, so let's tighten that up, and I'm gonna have to repair that rubber because if I don't, there's a good chance mosquitoes are going to come in here. So I already know from experience that happens. Alright, so I just used some of this heavy duty contact cement. I glued this piece of leather. It's kind of like a fake leather or leatherette. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a crappy piece that I had laying around. I wasn't using for anything, so I cut it to fit. That tear started here, went all the way around here, all the way in. I think it even goes past here, but it should hold now. So when that broke, that jagged part of the bolt, I think, caught on this and tore it. Somehow it got caught in there and tore. This side didn't get damaged at all. So that keeps the mosquitoes out, keeps the cold air out. You know, if you have the air conditioning on, I guess it keeps the heat out. So, and with it torn like that, it just keeps bunching up on the inside, so it's just going to keep tearing and getting worse. So I've got it glued really well. I'm thinking of actually putting a little piece on the inside here just to make it a little stronger. So I might do that, and then this job is complete now. I've got a couple of screws I gotta put back in. I took all the screws out of this piece of metal thinking that this might come out, but I believe it's screwed on the inside, coming down on the floor inside, so it does not come out. Unless you pull the whole slide out, it does not come out. Everything that was done in this had to be done in this little cupboard here. I never showed how tight of a space there was to work on this. So everything had to be done below the floor right here. It only slides out about 15, 16 inches. There's a nut that's supposed to be fastened to the floor. Thanks for watching.